Whoa, damn, is that a golden monkey? Holy crap, man, I wish I could make that. Oh, wait, you can make that. Let me show you how. Alright, as with everything in Blender, get rid of it all. And then after that, you can just go ahead, drop down here, get yourself a little monkey, put it to subdivision 2, give it a little rotation, give it a little bit more rotation, you know, make it look like it's sort of let down, flattened. Don't really need to worry about too much of it. Doesn't really matter too much. Shade smooth that, make it all nice and smooth. Nobody likes a rough monkey. Go to shading, and this is where we can get started with the actual tutorial. So, if you've already got some materials made, you can just take them straight out of your asset browser. I'm going to be using this aluminum texture. Copy and paste that. And this gold texture. And copy and paste that. Now I have both materials in the same material slot on the same object. Now, it doesn't matter what materials actually applied to the monkey at this time, because we are going to change that. So, you want to drag this out. Go there, grab yourself a nice little mix shader. Everybody loves a nice little bit of mixed shades. Grab that, pull it down, bonk that one down, right? So now your blender should be like, ooh, gross, disgusting texture. It looks nasty, alright? This is the worst shit I've seen since. What else are you gonna need? You're gonna need a color ramp. And you're gonna want yourself a nice little noise texture. Plug the factor into the factor, grab the color, plug it into this factor. Now, as you can see with the monkey up here, it just sort of grossly overlays it still. You can control how much of it is overlaid, so look, that goes more towards the aluminum. If I slide in this one, it goes more towards the gold, right? And you can sort of see where it transitions. Now, what we want is constant. Now, instead of just overlapping the monkey, making it all fuzzy all over, now that we have constant, it will draw a hard border between the two materials when it transitions based on the noise texture. Bam, got gold all over. He kind of looks like some exotic cow with all these sort of cow prints over him. Obviously, you want your texture coordinate. Now, there is a little add-on where you just click a button and all these nodes appear for you, but honestly, I like popping the nodes into existence. It entertains me. So we want object, drag that into the vector, drag the vector into the vector, the noise texture. Now this will basically put the noise on your model based, well, on your model. It'll do it based on the object. Alright, there we go. So you want more noise, you can drag it up. So when you drag this, it'll appear from more places and it'll do that. If you want sort of less noise, just drag that back down, and then bam. So you can have it so that the gold appears from a single spot and it sort of swipes all over the mesh. Really good. Roughness, don't really need to worry about that, doesn't do much. Detail, I like to crank the detail up just so that it gets rid of sort of the hard edge and instead it has sort of this sort of naturally spreading sort of look. I like that a bit better than the regular one, but at the end of the day it's up to you. I'm gonna just increase my noise a little bit, hold shift to slow down the dragging, and then look, alright, so I like that. So it sort of comes out, it spreads around, it closes up, the monkey's gold. Perfect. So now that that's done, we want to figure out the emission. So find the value. Okay, before we go on to the emission, we're going to want to find exactly where this value needs to be for it to be 100% aluminum. So you see there, 6.8 is too much, so just drag down a little bit more, go for 0.75, and there's no more gold on the mesh, so that's a good value. So remember that it's 0.75. Now, gonna move on to the emission now, so you're gonna want to grab yourself a mix shader, another one. I mean, you can just shift D it, but I was extra for some reason. I enjoy typing. It's a weird thing with me. You know, the noise sort of satisfying my monkey brain because I have quite a loud keyboard. You probably hear it in the video actually. So what you want from this is another color ramp. Drag that down, and you're gonna want to take out the same noise texture. If you duplicated this, it would still be a different noise texture. So you want the exact same one with the exact same coordinates that you put in based on the exact same texture coordinate. drag the color. Oh, so you want to grab yourself an emission node, plant that there, plug the color in, drag that, and then you're going to want to plug that straight into there. You are. Oh. Alright, fair enough. I've been bamboozled. Right, plug both those back in the correct way. Wait for your computer to churn out the texture. I'm a uni student, alright? I can't afford a new PC. Give me some slack. Alright, bam. There you go. Now you can't see shit because, well, fuck you. Alright, now turn that back up to 1. You can see exactly where the emission is going to appear. You can drag it up and down, and you can see the path it will take, and you can obviously alter how fast you want it. So it's important to put this at 0.750. Now, okay, so just remember that value. Drag it back up. You'll be able to. Oh yeah, so 0.750. Okay, so you're gonna want to remember the number 750, okay? Because that's where you need to reset this to have a completely aluminum mesh. Drag this out, and you can see that you've got gold. Now, in order to track this across the gold, you're gonna want to set the bottom white value to the exact same as the top white value. So put that 0.5 for now. Put that 0.5. And now you can sort of see where the emission is. Do that, turn the emission up a little bit. Now, you're going to want to come here, add another little node, or another little color blob. So you want to grab this and drag it over here. Now, immediately, you should see the change. Black on both sides means that when it's spreading out, it's limited to where the other texture is. That's why you keep the values the same. And the black here basically stops it from emitting any light on the inside. Now you can change how thick the line is along the outside. You can have it super thin like this, or you can have it super thick like this, all up to personal preference. It's whatever you want to make. So you just drag this down. I'm going to make mine sort of thin like this, I reckon. I quite like that. So you're going to come down here, you're going to go 0.51. You're going to want to round it up for just simplicity's sake. Okay, so now, come back to this value, set it to 0.750. Now, something to take note of is that this black value must always be 10 points behind the white value. That's because I've set mine to thin, and if you look now, it is currently 10 points behind. So you want to set this to 750. 0.750, and then set this to 0.760, or however, or whatever amount that you put in. Pull up a little timeline here, do a little shifting around, and this is when we can start to animate the values. We can worry about the color of everything in a minute. So, you're gonna want to take this color ramp, click this node here. Gonna want to press I on frame 0. So that is it. You, depending on how long you want the animation to be, I'm gonna put it at 150. I'm gonna put it at 120, just to make the animation a couple seconds long. Drag it right to the end, come to 120, and you're going to want to drag this all the way across to whatever value you want, all the way as close to the black as you want. This is so that by the end of the animation we'll have a few frames left, or if you don't want that, you can just drag it out here just to after it stops. And then by the time it hits this point, that's when it will be done. But I don't want that, so I'm going to go a bit beyond, just so there's a couple frames afterwards so that people could admire the golden monkey. Press I on that, and now that is locked in. You can press play, and that will show you the texture creeping across the mesh. Nice and good, right? Brilliant. You know, the monkey's pissing himself, he's turning them gold, it's brilliant. Now, you also want to do the same with the emission. Alright, so come to the emission, you grab your white node, press I, get it indented at that value. Skip to the end frame, what you kind of want to do, you want to come up here, you're going to find the value of this, 0.086, and you're going to want to change this to 0.086. Press enter, press I, and that will now track the emission along the gold. Okay, if you get an issue like this, it might be because your frames are a bit whack. So yeah, see, these two frames are a frame before those ones. If I move that to the right by one, there you go. That issue's gone now. Come back down here, give it a bit of slap and tickle. So 0.56. So it wants to be 10 less, rather 10 more than the white value. So go up to the edge. So come here, press I, indent it at 760, come down here. So we want 0.096. 0.096. And then indent that. And you'll see immediately all the emission is gone, right? That's because it's now tracking along the edges. So zoom out, give it a play, and you can see it. And a benefit of having smaller lines is that when the details meet up, they create sort of a flash. So if you look here, there's sort of a big blob of white, and it sort of flashes into existence. It looks like it's sort of magically crossing across the mesh instead of just a flat sort of zoom. Okay, so obviously white emission is kind of boring. So for that, just come back down here to our emission and change to whatever color you want. I'm gonna go for like a sort of orangey gold color, and I'm just gonna come up here and I'm gonna bump the strength up until it's white. Now what else you can do is come up here. Okay, so now what we're gonna want to do is come press Shift A, make yourself a camera, snap it to your view with Control Alt and 0 on the numpad. Come up here, lock camera to view, zoom out so you get the whole monkey in the shot. Gonna want to render a little test image. So you've got all the emission, that's tracking lovely. So you're gonna want to just close that, come to compositing, use nodes, and this is where we add the blur. This will work on cycles and Eevee. So you just want to come up here, get a little viewer node. Something about the viewer node that I never knew until literally the other day. You plug this into this, and then you got that. And look, you can move it around. I was stuck. Look, you can even move. You can move it around. You can shrink it. Look at this. Look at this. Boom. And gone. Admittedly, I can no longer access it now. Some bit of a hindsight on my part, but yeah, now it's bigger than it was before. Now what? Doesn't matter. So we can see it in the background there. What we're gonna want to do, we're gonna add a glare node. Slap that in, and then it goes a little bit crazy, admittedly. So you want to go to fog glow, and then again, a little bit crazy. You're gonna want to tone it down a little bit. So you're gonna want to make sure that the glare node is linked into the compositor. Now, if we click render again, do another little test render. You should notice you have a bit of a better looking monkey. Now that we've got all that done, we can just move straight to the render. So get yourself some basic lights and environment texture. Just whip everything into the scene, start rendering. And bam, there you go. Golden monkey, bros. Yeah, isn't that nice? Everybody loves a golden monkey. I call it the Midas monkey. I actually really love it. Since the material is procedural, you can just shove it on anything. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Check out all my links. I don't know, subscribe or something. I want that internet clout. It's a fucking internet bitches, dude. I want some of that internet pussy. I want some of that big fat internet.